Gets that first spot, but now they know exactly where he is. They're going to try and play this, and they almost line up, but almost doesn't.
Trace Esports just beat Leviathan 2-1, and I want to say that the last map, Ascent, was probably the worst attack side I've ever seen on Ascent from Leviathan. And this isn't to take away from how Trace played, because I think Trace played great. They had really good spacing and trading, and they were pretty much always there to help their teammates. Meanwhile, on Leviathan's side, they're throwing questionable utility and just looking incredibly lost. All right, we're going to see a nice utility set here. All right, Calm's dart comes through, and Liu King is going to throw a flash instead of breaking the dart. And the reason he's doing that is he wants to pull their attention. You get highlighted by the dart. All of a sudden, everyone's thinking about you, like, oh, we got to run him down. Like, he's getting scanned, he's in a bad spot. But because Liu King throws his flash right here, right, it blinds all the defenders here. It gives Kai a free fight because all the players are blind and they're all focused on Liu King. So you just get to try to take a fight. And these are the kind of micro advantages that you need to find, not even just on eco rounds, but just like rounds in general. And this is something that Trace is consistently doing.
Aspas, though, puts a pin in it. He's going to try and deny anything more, and even still, they managed a third.
As Hebe gets the isolated one there.
2 versus 2, not a bad
and now it's a 2v2.
For Trace to find themselves in, but the door closed.
And Aspas is not aware that Kai beats the timing on this.
Not even punished for the
Leaving
kill.
Calm in a 1v2, and Trace played to perfection. They juggle Calm, and the round is over.
They might not win.
This is one of the only rounds where Lev managed to get a first blood, because they only got 3 out of the 18 rounds. And they're still going to manage to lose this round. Let's take a look at it.
Playing a risky game against this operator, and the flash is good.
First, they managed to kill Hebe, who tries to swing off the op contact, which I still think is a good play. I don't find necessarily anything wrong with it. It kind of shows like there are layers to it, and even if you have like a well-executed game plan, it doesn't mean that every single situation falls into your favor. But I think it's good, right? Everyone is trained on the line. They probably are trying to pre-fire the op when it comes re-swinging, that it'll be harder for them to turn from the flash. And so King manages to get the headshot, gets the first blood, and they're going to leave a deadlock stun in A main along with the Omen, just to give him a little bit of utility to help him hold the space. We're going to break the trip mid, and so Lev are now just going to group for an A exec. Now, the thing is, Liu King manages to find a timing here, and he manages to find the isolated player on the split. Pretty interesting smoke thrown by Leviathan. This is one that started seeing more teams throwing, right? Because the Heaven smoke is not really good if you have a Jet opping. If you throw the smoke a little too wide, the Jet can peek from behind it and swing out. If you throw it too shallow, the Jet can still swing out. Like the Heaven smoke isn't really that much of a deterrent when it comes to stopping people from swinging out, right? So by throwing this smoke, what it does is it actually cuts off line of sight for the Opper from Heaven. They can't actually see people's heads as they're walking up and out. And it essentially creates like 3 different angles for defenders having to worry about, right? Because if you're holding from Heaven, all of a sudden you have to worry about if someone is peeking you on the left side of the smoke, on the right side of the smoke, or like directly through the smoke. So it's an interesting smoke, and it's a very smart one to throw. So we're going to see now that Leviathan are going to throw the under hell stun that a lot of deadlock players throw. My only issue is the location where they put the stun. The stun's actually right here, right? And so the reason I have an issue with where it's placed is because it's placed before the choke point. So if a player does manage to get stunned by it, they're not going to be punished as easily as if you put it, maybe a little bit more to the right and have the stun box look more like this. To the moment where they walk out of the choke point, they get hit by the stun, and then whoever's holding the angle gets a free kill. It ends up just becoming a deterrent and not actually like utility. And they have this wall protecting them that they don't really need to worry. As opposed to if the stun was placed a little further, now they're going to get shot by the player in main while they're trying to run away from the stun. And you're pretty much like guaranteed to get more value from that. So let's let the rest of the round play out.
We've seen this so many times. That stun causing issues. Over the top goes Kai, and then the trade is there. It's all onto Mazzino. Fighting 1 versus 3. He knows where they're defusing. He's trying to catch him with the spam, but it's not accurate. It's not on. He's not getting anything. He's defusing right in front of him. And Biang is even there to close the round.
So this round is an example of why I think Trace has incredibly good trading and spacing, and we're going to see that immediately because they're going to help insert Feng into the bottom left corner. And the reason they're doing that is because Leviathan knows that Trace has an op, and so they know that people are not going to swing angles super quickly because they're going to respect the fact that they have an op. So they have Kai, hold down this angle right here while Feng walks down into this bottom mid area. because something that Leviathan have been doing a lot is that they like to break the Killjoy alarm bot that sits right here, right? You get your Killjoy walked up a little deeper, then you suddenly have way more information. Because Leviathan know there's an Opper, they're not going to really contest this area immediately at the start of the round without investing utility, right? Maybe later in the round, when the round is kind of like progressed and stuff, they're okay with contacting, but early on in the round, this is a nice play that Trace managed to make. So now that Leviathan have a main control, what we're going to see now is they're about to throw a smoke mid. Right there, that smoke mid just came. And this tells Trace a few things. Firstly, when you throw this smoke right here, right, it means that you're probably gonna get somebody up to cat, right? You want to get rid of this angle, and you know they suspect that there's probably an Opper holding maybe here, right, or like here for top mid, right? So they want to smoke it off to make it easier for the players to cross up towards catwalk. And so the thing with Feng here is that he smartly recognizes that the fight that I'm going to be taking is most likely going to be on one of the players on catwalk, because they're probably not going to walk through the smoke by themselves, and they probably suspect that there's an Opper here. So they're definitely not going to try to, you know, take it without any utility. And so what Feng does is he'll reposition over here on top of this box, and so now he gets a good angle onto catwalk. And while he doesn't immediately get rewarded for it, the same thing is going to happen in a future round, and he's going to get some value out of it.
Champions, winners. One looking for a repeat.
So we see Leviathan start wandering out mid, and a dart from Bianc confirms that there are players indeed working up mid. We're going to see that Calm is going to start droning. And here's where we run into another issue. The fact that Calm ends up using every single piece of his utility here, clear out the Killjoy, and they don't get the kill. And this is an issue because in this comp, right, where you're losing the KO in favor of the deadlock, you can't afford to invest all your utility into, you know, something that is such like a small space without getting at least a kill out of it. Calm is going to be using his shock dart, his Sova drone, both his shock darts, and Mazzino's also going to throw his net, and they're just going to get nothing from it. What I think they should have done is they probably have their jet Aspas, right? Throw a smoke right here, just temporarily after this smoke fades. The smoke fades right here. Temporarily throw a smoke here, walk up and clear the guy. But instead, they just seem so like afraid to fight and afraid to punish someone for walking up super far. You know, there is no flash on the Leviathan comp, so they're not gonna like throw a pop flash and walk through. And so it just ends up becoming such a horrible trait of utility for Leviathan, and they just end up having no Sova utility ready for the fight. I think Calm's playstyle doesn't really fit with this kind of single initiator comp, right? Like normally you have a KO to help you execute onto site, but without it, you kind of do need Calm's utility. He's using his start at 53 seconds. It's not going to be back for another 40 seconds at the minimum. So the earliest he can throw his dart is with 13 seconds left in the round, right? So that means essentially they have to do a last minute execute onto a site, or they trust that, you know, they can trade their numbers and trade their bodies onto a site.
But again,
so LEV are going to try to pull rotates towards A, and they're going to do that with this deadlock wall and an Omen flash. They invested the Omen flash here, and now they're going to turn back towards B because we still have B main control with Tex.
Immediate TP from both sides.
And now we're going to see Calm's dart come out, right? And his dart is going to clear spawn. But the issue is because Leviathan are so low on time here, they don't have the luxury of being able to fight spawn while the two players on site are like stuck, right, with no information, right? Because now the win condition of the round has changed. It doesn't actually matter that much if the players back boat get kills, right? The main objective is to just now stall long enough so they can't get the plant down. And so what we'll see here is because they are not able to fight off Calm's dart, which he throws here, Feng just gets this crazy crossfire along with Lil King, where they just essentially take turns shooting, and they just absolutely destroy Leviathan as they go onto site.
Another player in the boathouse. 10 seconds. They haven't even got close. They've got to get past an Odin. This is looking messy. They need to go right now, and they're going to get slaughtered. It has to.
And because of the time pressure now, we're going to see that Feng just runs out onto site because he knows that Leviathan are in such a time crunch that they have to get on site no matter what. They can't really leave a guy in like main or logs or anywhere else in this kind of area, right? Because everyone is just trying to flood onto site. They're thinking, yeah, we got to kill the dude's back site in order to get the plant down. And so Feng just runs forward and cleans up the rest of the round.
They have this happen. In fact, I think he let go. I don't know if he's going to get this one.
And that's the round. Alright, so now it's round 12, and Leviathan are going to call essentially the same thing they did last round. They're going to contest for early A main control. There's Calm's dart, and they're going to grab Mazzino's orb, and then they're going to turn back and work mid. And in a few seconds, we're going to see King throw his smoke. There it is. And we can already see that Feng is already moving towards closer mid, right? Once he sees the smoke come in, he knows he's gonna get up over here and get ready to swing off of Kai's contact on catwalk. And because Kai can also hear this smoke coming, he knows that he's about to get fought from either top mid or tiles. So he pushes himself up into this aggressive area where the tiles player can't really, see him. He has his dash, and so he's going to be able to get out. And we're going to see now something really baffling. Calm, who has his drone, is going to decide he's just not going to drone. He's not going to drone to clear out, where they suspect the opera might be, and they're just going to dry walk up and take the fight. And they have Mazzino run out, the guy with the ult, to do that. Now, look, we just got our deadlock ult. Like, the whole start of the round, the idea was to get the deadlock ult. So why are we then sending the deadlock out to peek first and try to find out where the opera is, right? We want to invest some utility to figure out where the opera is and then send the deadlock ult towards them, right? Or anybody, for that matter. All they need to do is find somebody, throw the deadlock ult on them, and now they've forced a 5v4 man advantage. But no, they decide to have Mazzino come out and just swing dry with no utility. And most perplexing of them all, we're going to watch Calm on the minimap just run all the way over to B and drone that. In a comp where they have a KO, maybe that's okay. But when you're the only initiator on the team, your win condition this round is to get an opening pick with the deadlock ult. It just makes no sense for you to be droning B. Nobody can capitalize off your utility there. And just like in previous round, we have Feng walked up into this position down mid, right? And the reason it's good is because when you're stood up on this box, you actually do have an angle onto the players in catwalk. And so what's going to happen is Kai's going to take the first contact, manage to kill Aspas. Even if he doesn't kill Aspas here, Aspas doesn't have his dash ready. Feng is just going to trade it out immediately. Because Kai gets this kill, Feng doesn't actually have to reveal his position. And so what we end up getting is his position ends up getting value because what's going to happen in a second is Tex is going to walk up, right? And he's going to try to pick up the bomb. And what Kai's going to do is Kai's just going to dash to force him out of his own cage, right? Here comes the dash. Tex has to move back. Even though Kai misses the knives, because Feng is in such an advanced position, he's just able to kill the Cypher immediately. So this is another nice trace setup where they're able to benefit off of each other's positioning, and they trust that their teammates are going to make the right decision in these split-second, situations, and they end up building a larger advantage. And so this is something that we should expect to see more teams doing. Having a heliocentric team traditionally has not worked in this game, but that doesn't mean that you have to be super passive about everything, right? China has been able to find this blend of both being aggressive, but also having good teamwork. Players walk up into advanced positions, they help each other get to those positions, and they make sure that, no death really goes unpunished most of the time. And, no fight taken by anybody on the team is really alone, whether it's by body or utility. And because they do it so quickly, right, they end up just looking so much more coordinated than other teams who maybe have to wait, that extra 2 or 3 seconds to coordinate exactly what they need to do. But right now it looks like Trace is just operating totally in sync with each other. And they're not going to be an easy out on the playoffs. There is no bad team that is going to make it to the playoffs in this tournament. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.